Have you ever found yourself wondering why sticking to your goals so many times feels like this constant battle? Maybe you set intentions, but then you find that in reality, there are restrictions on those intentions, or the I can't do this thing makes everything feel harder, not easier. If you are tired of feeling like you're constantly giving things up instead of moving forward, you're going to love this episode. In this episode, we are talking about how to shift from this limiting mindset to a mindset of choice and allowance. We're going to discuss this small but super powerful language change that can transform your goals from feeling like these restrictions, like putting this prison around you, into empowering choices. We're going to help you feel motivated and in control with those goals. So I'm going to share some practical examples that show you how easy it can be to reframe these everyday decisions to serve and to inspire you rather than feeling like it's just all a sacrifice. So if you're ready to take control of your goals and finally feel empowered in your choices, grab your favorite drink, settle in with me, and enjoy this episode. Let's get into it. First, I want to say welcome back to Radiant Womanhood. I am so thrilled that you are here today. And I first just want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who has been tuning in and listening. Thank you for those that have been sharing it, putting it on your social media, or sending to a friend. I have to say, if I didn't feel like coming here and sharing these insights that I've been learning or going through myself with you, if I didn't feel like it brought you value, I wouldn't be doing it. I would not take time away from my family or finance as a way to set this all up and pour into this for you. I wouldn't do it if I didn't feel like it didn't bring value to you. But that is my heart. I want to encourage you. I want to empower you, especially sometimes as moms, we might feel like we get into this hamster wheel of doing the same thing over and over. And the chaos of morning and getting the kids out the door for school and then this and then this, and it becomes just a cycle. And I want, if every episode is just a little bit of tidbit or something to break you out of that cycle and to get you moving or thinking, what do I want for my life? What do I want it to look like? What choice do I want to make today to set up my future for a life that feels empowered and invigorating, a life that I want to live? That's what I want every episode to bring for you. And that's what I'm so excited about today. We are diving into such a powerful shift that we can make in our lives. It's simple, but simple doesn't always mean easy. But I know that you can do this one. We are going to move ourselves from a limiting mindset to one that really allows and opens us up to possibility. Instead of feeling like we're just setting ourselves up with restrictions and more restrictions, which a lot of times happens with goals, right? We want to set this goal for a healthier lifestyle. So what is it? It's all about restrictions. We're going to talk about framing our goals and our choices in a way that feels freeing, that feels empowering and exciting and fulfilling. Have you ever noticed how this restrictive language sometimes, like, I can't have that, I'm not allowed to do this, it feels, well, heavy and negative. It just brings a negative connotation. Well, when we approach our goals and our daily choices with words like this, it feels restrictive, almost like we're punishing ourselves rather than moving towards something positive. But today I want to show you some examples of how we can just make this little shift, and it reframes these limiting thoughts into choices that truly serve us. And I think something that's so, I guess, powerful or exciting about being a mom of six, I get to see firsthand different things all the times with my kids. So with raising kids, we get to see human nature before we've like grown up and learned how to hide things, or how to, how to deal with stuff, how to deal with disappointment, and how to deal with all these different things. We get to see what our human nature really looks like, right? Because that's part of the process of growing up and maturing and developing. Well, think about this with our kids. Anytime we set the word no, a no on something, whatever it is, it's like this magical forbidden glow just surrounds whatever it is suddenly, right? And it becomes the most exciting, desirable thing in the world. Maybe they weren't super concerned with it before, but then it's like, no, you can't have it. No, you can't do this. And that's immediately what they want to do for some reason. And it's like, oh, but why not? Can I just have one more? We all just recently went through Halloween and all of this candy. And isn't it funny? Kind of say, no more sweets tonight. And it's like, oh, but just one more. Putting this no or putting restrictions on things adds like this shiny, special value to it. Almost like, okay, this is something we shouldn't have, but because I shouldn't have it, it makes me want it even more. And the thing is it's not just for kids. It happens to us as adults. Now, sometimes we become better at masking or talking ourselves into, okay, but it's good for me. So it's okay to have these restrictions. And yes, that's true. But when we're focused on the restriction or on limiting ourselves, it has the same effect on us. It's still in our nature, this restrictive aspect. Well, it creates the sense of something being off limits, and it actually makes it harder to resist. So the minute that we begin to think or say, I can't have that, it becomes way more tempting, right? That no or that quote unquote, I can't often fuels desire rather than quieting it. So that's where right now I'm in a season of learning to shift my language, how I think and how I like talk to myself, which is really our thoughts, but also with my kids. Like as a mom, I'm learning this language shift with my kids, and it's incredible to see the difference or see the change or see things be more easily accepted and it's okay as opposed to like, well, I want to fight against this now. So instead of saying, okay, no sweets tonight, I might say, let's save those sweets for tomorrow. So we have something to look forward to. Or instead of no electronics, no screen time, it could be, let's choose a fun activity together tonight and we can plan a screen time treat for the weekend or for another time. It's a small change, but this reframing works. And it's amazing to see how it works in the minds of our children, where instead of restricting and cutting off, it's this limiting language. It's opening them up for opportunity. It's opening them up for choice and for anticipation and giving them something to look forward to rather than creating this forbidden off limits feeling like you're taking something away from me. Think about applying that to our own thoughts, our own words and thoughts to ourselves. This shift doesn't just help my kids, but it's a powerful tool that we get to use in our own mindset too. Choosing instead of restricting allows us to keep our focus on what we're gaining, the beauty, the benefit, the choice, the power in that choice, rather than this feeling of, I'm missing out. I am sacrificing. I don't get this now. There's such a different feeling that's attached to the language that we use, and it's a powerful tool. And just that one little shift, that one little tweak in our language and speaking to and over ourselves and to and over our kids can make such a change in our mindset. And with the new year right around the corner, I think it's such a good time to grab a hold of this habit because we can really, out of our nature, speak with that negative kind of mindset. And it becomes a habit. We do it without even thinking about it. So, right now is the time to begin. Every time we begin to speak with that can't and with a no, I can't have that kind of a thing, catch yourselves and make that change. To eventually, you'll be retraining your mind to think in this new positive way. As it comes to the new year, we'll be in the habit of reframing our thoughts to this positive outlook of giving ourselves this choice, right? One of the biggest common places I think where we experience really this limiting mindset or can be such a clear example is in our diet. So, especially with many of us, maybe related to food choices, and especially coming into the new year, I feel like we might think about saying, okay, I can't eat sweets. I can't have that. What does that do? Right away, that mindset creates this sense or this feeling of restriction. It's like a wall goes right up in our mind, and we want to like break through that wall because that just makes the temptation even stronger, right? It's like, well, don't tell me I can't because now I want to. So instead, what if we reframe as I'm choosing foods that fuel my body and give me energy? Really, can you think like picture yourself or even just take a moment and say those both things? I can't have fill in the blank here without sweets. Or I'm choosing foods that fuel my body and give me energy. Which one feels like this powerful change, right? One of them feels like I can't, I'm just restricting myself. It feels like you're almost like in bondage, like I can't do something. But the other one feels so freeing and it feels powerful. I am choosing this thing and I'm choosing what fuels me, what gives me energy. It's this slight shift, but it changes everything. Instead of focusing on what we can't have, we're focusing on our choice and our power and the benefit that we have through it. Another example might be, okay, I can't drink alcohol. I can't have alcohol, or I can't drink soda anymore. But instead we could say, I'm choosing to drink something that hydrates me. I'm choosing to drink something that nourishes me, that makes me feel good. It's about what we're adding to our lives, not what we're taking away. When we frame it this way, we're stepping into the mindset that I'm prioritizing what feels good for my body, what is good, what fuels me. The same can go to exercise. I have to work out, or I can't skip the gym today. But the mindset in that feels very strict and it's like a chore. But what if instead we started saying, I'm choosing to move my body today because it makes me feel strong and energized. I'm moving my body today because I love how it supports my mental health and my physical health. For me, that's kind of how I don't always like moving. I don't like getting my steps in all the time. I'm like, oh man, I'm at like 7,500, I have 2,500 left and it's now the evening and I didn't get my 10,000 steps and I gotta get a walk in so that I can get to my steps. Or I'm choosing to move my body because I love how I feel after I do. And it reminds me of the benefit. It's like reminding myself, actually, I really do feel really good after I get a good walk in. My body feels better. My mind feels better. I actually do feel like I have more energy. So even right now, if I feel in a slump, I'm reminding myself, wait, that does feel good for my body. And so instead of this, oh, I have to, it's this, I really like what this does for me. I'm choosing this. And really, it's this type of rephrasing that makes whatever it is, maybe it's the exercise, or maybe it's choosing a different food, and it could be in so many different things. Maybe it's in choosing what time we go to bed. It's in choosing not picking up the phone for a dopamine hit, but I'm going to find dopamine in other ways. Whatever it is it's rephrasing to make that choice a gift to ourselves rather than an obligation. And if there's a specific goal you're working towards, like I mentioned, a certain number of steps or a different milestone, try to avoid the word should or have to, like, oh, I should be doing this or I have to do this. It's I'm building up my strength and my endurance because I love the way it makes me feel. With this shift in the mindset, it's like each part, every step feels like progress instead of just what we should. And I love how it can apply to so many things. Maybe in your relationships or maybe in your social goals. I have had people reach out to me and be like, hi, I just need more friends, different things. Okay, maybe we might think things like, oh, I have to be more patient with people. What that does is it makes these friendships and relationships, right, feel like an obligation or a chore. But reframe it as I'm choosing to cultivate patience. And maybe it's with your kids. I'm choosing to cultivate patience because it helps me connect with the people that I love. Or I'm choosing to respond with calm because it supports the peace that I want in my relationships in my home. That's a big one, right? When we focus on the outcome that you want to create with the choice that you're making. When you focus on the outcome and you speak and you think the outcome of what we're creating, it feels empowering. Instead of saying, I have to meet more people or I can't be shy, I need to not be shy anymore. Try like, I'm allowing myself to be open to new connections. Or I'm inviting more of these social opportunities that feel good for me. It's leaving room for the outcome that you want, but without the pressure of, I have to, I should, I need to, without the restrictive language of, I can't stay home because I really need to do this. Okay. I'm inviting this social opportunity, right? Okay. What about personal goals or in work? So yeah, maybe you're like me sometimes where, and I feel like it's less often now because I'm learning to set like time frames and time periods to work and time blocking and things like that. But for a while it would be like, oh, did you eat lunch today? No, I can't take any breaks. I have to get to this project. I have to finish this thing. I can't stop right now. But maybe that I can't take any breaks or I can't stop this. Maybe shift it to, okay, I am choosing to set time for this deep work so I can feel productive and then also have time for rest. It gives you that thing to look forward to and remind you that this, what I'm in right now, this deep work, shouldn't be something that is constant. Let's set a time for this deep work so then I can allow the time for rest or the time for social activities or fun or family, right? It lets us look forward to our focus time. So instead of feeling burdened by it, I have to get this done. I have to put in this time. It's like I'm setting a time for some good, deep, focused work. And then I'm going to give myself time for the benefit of that in everything that you do. Maybe your goal even for this next year is like to get some things organized. I know there's different times when we come home from a trip and, we'll check in with each other, my friends, and they're like, wait, they'll may say, what are you doing today? I'm getting my life organized. Okay, and I'm not even saying have to, but if that's you, if you're feeling like I need to get some organization in my life instead of like, oh, I have to be more organized. I have to get this thing under control. Let's switch to the outcome that you want. I'm choosing tools that help me feel on top of things, that help me feel better about whatever it is, the state of this room or of my office or whatever that might be. It's a reminder that you have the power to choose whether it's a strategy that works for you, a system that works for you, a structure, a diet, whatever it might be, whatever it is that works for you, you have the power to choose that and choose the thing that works for you rather than just feeling overwhelmed by an expectation. And usually it's an expectation that we put on ourselves. But you get the power to choose. And that's what is so beautiful about reframing this language and the small little shift of how we speak to ourselves and how we speak over maybe the changes that we're making. One of the best ways to make this shift a regular part of our mindset is to keep an eye out for those words that we're thinking or that we're saying, like should, can't, have to. And when you catch yourself using those phrases, reframe it as a choice. Whenever it's, I can't skip this, I can't do that, it's, I am choosing this because this is the outcome I want. If it's, I can't spend money on that, we get to shift it to, I'm choosing to prioritize the spending on the things that add value to my life. So I'm choosing to prioritize my spending on this, but maybe not on that this time. I want to encourage you in this. It can be something that you are able to make a shift now and begin to change your habits and how you speak to yourself. We talk so much on this podcast about the things that we say, the speak, and the things that we think, because both of those make such an impact on your life. And I hope that you're hearing the differences in those examples that I was giving. And again, those are just examples. I'm not telling you that you should do any one of those things or multiple of those things, but I'm saying, what are your goals? What are the outcomes? What are the things that you want to see flourish in your own life? As you take the time to shift that mindset from words like have to or restricting like can't, when you begin to shift those into things like I am choosing this because of this outcome, because of what it does for my body, what it does for my mind, what it does for my family, what it does for my finances. Choose the outcome you want and shift your life and your habits accordingly. But as you do, shift your mindset into the beautiful thing is I get to choose every day. I get to make those choices. That's the power that I have. And I'm choosing this choice because of the immense benefit that it brings. What a powerful mindset shift. And if we can just get a hold of this together, I feel like it will bring so much, yeah, that breath, so much freedom, so much of this feeling of I'm allowing these things that are good in my life instead of just I'm restricting all the things that I shouldn't have in my life. And that's what I want for you. That's what I want for you. I believe it will help you thrive and not just survive. And I want to say thank you so much for spending this time with me today, for joining me in this journey of shifting from a restrictive mindset to one of freedom and choice. Changing our language is that powerful step to changing our mindset. So every time we make that choice that feels positive and intentional, we're allowing more of what we want in our lives. So, friend, here is to making choices that fuel you, that are uplifting, and that are empowering for you every day. You've got this. And until next time, keep choosing what lights you up and makes you radiant.